You're listening to 834's award-winning podcast, The Happy Hour Hustle. We offer listeners the chance to experience the musings, or ramblings depending on how many glasses of wine she's had, of the one and only Kimberly J. Bodie as she interviews notable clients, upstanding community members, and random passerby. Nominations and awards pending.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of Happy Hour Hustle, our award-winning podcast. Awards and nominations are very much pending. We have Shannon Cohen with us today, who is one of Grand Rapids' most favorite people. I was going to say one of my favorite people, but I think that everyone in Grand Rapids loves you.
I appreciate that for the compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well, and I think too, like everyone's like, "There's no way she's that nice," but you really are that nice. It's you want to be like, nope, nobody's that nice, but you are. So before we jump into talking about leadership and all the things that you're doing, what is your favorite drink? Because I have to ask this question.
Yes, it's a tie. So I think I love peach iced tea.
Really?
Yeah, that is like my Achilles heel. Like I know I'm supposed to drink water, but
whatever.
I just need some.
I mean, don't you kind of make it with water?
Right.
Right. I mean, then it's fine. You're getting it. That's what I tell myself
Yes.
about coffee, so it's fine.
Yes.
Okay, so who is Shannon Cohen? I mean, besides, we know you as a leader and a speaker, and you're an inspiration to us all. But in your own words, who are you?
Yeah, I think for Happy Hour Hustle, I love when you interview people and they go behind the veil and under the hood of what you can just Google and find.
Yeah.
So I think at my heart, I am an encourager. Pretty much everything I do, whether it's in the realm of consultancy or speaking or being an author, I think at the heart of things, one of my superpowers is encouraging people. And I am really passionate about the difficult stuff that we all carry behind our titles and our smiles and degrees and roles,
Or West Michigan nice.
And I'm like, can we create spaces to talk about our valleys as much as our wins? Because it's often how we navigate valleys that determines so much more than the wins do.
I always say that failure is really how you deal with failure is what defines you, because everybody fails. But we have such a hard time in society that acknowledging a failure or just saying, failure is just, it happens in life. It's just what it is. So how are you going to deal with it and move on?
Absolutely. I feel like I spend more days being a firefighter, a fire preventer, and a fire starter than I do getting awards, right? And that's the real life of even being an entrepreneur. For every one win you see, it's been 10 Hail Marys.
I remember one time somebody said, "Oh, you've hit the 10-year mark. Wow, you've really made it." And I was like, no, every day I hustle. There's you never feel like you've truly ever made it. You're always, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you kind of are just always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, what's next? What's going to happen? What fire am I going to have to put out today? You have a really great quote on your website. Some dragons you don't run from, some dragons you slay. That's badass. Talk to me about that.
I think that is so much of Tough Skin, Soft Heart, what I do with that, and why I wanted portable affirmation products for my soul is because I remember trying to go into Hallmark or to and look for cards. I'm like, my friends are warrior mamas. They lead organizations. They run for elected office. Where are those cards?
Yeah,
and it was like nothing.
No.
And then, don't knock me. I love a card with a cute pony or a flower on the front, but I knew I needed words anchor me.
Yeah.
I think words are healing. Words stir us up. Words restore our souls. And so when I started in 2014, I had started a blog. So Tough Skin, Soft Heart started as a blog. I never thought it would be where it is today. But I started taking the sayings that people love best from that blog, and people would respond like, I needed to hear this today. So some dragons you run from and some dragons you slay came out of something I wrote in my journal to myself one day. Like, we all go through these moments where, we want to bury our heads in the sand and hope that it all goes away. But life isn't like that.
No.
And there are some times when you have to pick up your armor and you have to get it in, and you have to go hard for after the things that you want. You have to be able to stir up this sense of resilience within you to deal with whatever life is bringing to you and deal with it head on. And so there have been times in my life, I think specifically when my son was 3 and he went through a year of chemotherapy, that was something I couldn't run from.
No.
That was something that I had to stand in that moment and walk alongside of him and slay. And so I think there's just times when we all know that there's a moment, this is not a tuck tail and run.
Mm-hmm.
This is not this is a fight moment and not a flight moment.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned your book a little bit, which I have, and I have started reading, and it, like you, it's also very inspirational and wonderful. So what kind of inspired you to write it, and then maybe kind of just tell listeners what the book is about?
I think one of the audiences that I think my work speaks to are women that lead, love, and serve. Women that often, because they slay, because they are exceptional in their craft, because they are often in very visible leadership roles, nobody asks them if they're okay.
Mm-hmm. Right?
They don't get safe
Yep.
spaces to become unglued. It's like I have to become unglued. I have to cry in my car. Then I have to get out, slay that board meeting, do this strategic planning session.
Mm-hmm.
I have to, do all of these things. I wear so many hats that I don't get to break down. That's not an option. And I know her because I am her.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it was Tough Skin, Soft Heart. That book is a bit of my soul on paper. It is kind of my own journey through being in a space where I was visibly, externally, I was winning in my career, but I was on E emotionally in my soul. And there was a day, I remember the day, it was the day that I won 40 Under 40 with the Grand Rapids Business Journal. And I remember standing on that stage, and I don't even remember what was going on. I just remember the lights and how exhausted I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this it? And so the book is 30 days of walking powerful difference makers through internal well-being and wholeness. It is 30 days of saying, we're going to give you space to be nobody before you have to be everybody to somebody.
Well, and it's so true, because I think we feel very selfish when we take time for ourselves. And I speaking from, my own heart, I feel like, you're constantly giving, and literally there's nothing more to give. And you go home and it's really the same thing, whether it's, running the household, making sure bills are getting, all of this. So you never really feel like you have any time to be, vulnerable, or just like to just cry, or scream.
Exactly. I think a lot of times when we do get that time, we don't know what to do with ourselves. It's
Right?
like my mind goes in a million directions.
We feel guilty.
Yeah, it's like I'm so used to being on all the time that when I get downtime, it's like, so what do I do?
Yeah.
So I think the book also was a way of saying, I call it a woosah book. So I say it's at the start of your day.
Yeah.
If that's when you have your reflective time with coffee, or when the sun is coming up, if that's that one little bit of me time you get, or if it's, you've had a hellish day and you need to go into the bathroom for a 10-minute pull myself together, cry, have a moment, or if it's at the end of the day, when that's when the house gets quiet, or the email starts to slow down, and your mind starts to slow down, and you get that time. But it's really, I think we have to restore our souls. We can take a lot. I firmly believe the Energizer Bunny is a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah.
But I think we need that space to check in on ourselves. I think pain is our physical body's way of saying something is wrong. And we are in tune. We are taught to be in tune to pain. But there needs to be almost an emotional Baker Wong scale that we use to gauge, how am I doing?
Yeah.
If nobody else is asking me how I'm doing, I have to take time to ask myself.
Well, and I think another big, I don't like the word self-care, but I think another thing that really helps drive us women, or helps keep us sane, are girlfriends. And you founded Women Who Lead.
Yes. So Sisters Who Lead.
Sisters
that was
Who
good.
Lead.
Yeah, Sisters Who Lead. I love being a part of movements that create, we go to the bathroom together.
Yeah.
And that's our magic,
Yeah.
right? Like the fact that we can go to the bathroom together, that is our magic. And I think that women, we are naturally nurturers. We're naturally gatherers. That is not a deficit. That is not a liability. That is an asset. And when we can gather to uplift one another, I think that's powerful. So Sisters Who Lead is a work that I started as an affinity space for women of color that want to move from middle management to executive levels of leadership. And but also the Rockstar Woman movement with Tough Skin, Soft Heart. Last year I did my first Rockstar Woman event with Mayor Bliss, and that was phenomenal just to see all of these, and everything was free.
Yeah.
We made sure that you just come. You don't have to do anything, because often as women, we don't get invitations. Rockstar women work. They
Right.
don't get to just come
Right.
and just be.
So are you doing that again?
I am.
Okay, because
I
maybe we might want to
am.
sponsor.
Yes,
So because
yes,
we'd
that'd
like
be
to,
great.
we'd like it to be free, continue to be free. I think that's amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
well, and some of my staff went to International Women's Day, and you spoke
Yes.
there. And I think you heard Chelsea when she was walking you and talk about like how amazing you were. I mean, they loved you, and I think you have this way. I've heard you speak at Athena, and I'm totally fangirling right now, but it's fine. But you have this way. You just have this natural way about you of inspiring people or wanting people to also seek more, and I think that's just. I mean, from your book to your, your speaking engagements to your, consulting, all of that. I mean, you really are changing people's lives. I mean. Like yeah.
I need to just come hang out at 8.
I know, right?
I'm feeling
Yeah.
low. Like,
You just come through the door.
Yeah,
We're going
I
to start
appreciate
throwing
you.
compliments at you.
I appreciate you. I think, Kim, as you said, that I think that one of the things I feel really just called to do is to care for people that care for other people. Nobody really asks the leader that's doing all of the caring, the leading, the serving, if they are well.
Yep.
And I know that we both have friends that are brilliant, and they are in a walking wounded space.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't know they're walking wounded because they can still be brilliant. They can still show up. They're still looking like they're externally thriving. But there comes a breaking point.
Oh, yeah.
Where when you're in a walking wounded space, you almost become dead woman walking.
Yeah.
Or dead man, dead person walking, dead difference maker walking. If you don't start to give to yourself with the same intensity that you give to other people. And I want to change that paradigm. I just want to be one of the voices in that space that's saying, if you're going to lead and be well and live to continue to thrive and be well and to make a difference, then it's okay. It's more than okay. It's critical.
Well, I feel guilty every time I take a vacation or think about taking a vacation. And I think that we have to give ourselves grace. And I think so often, leaders don't do that. And before we wrap up, because I know we probably have gone over our time, because I could literally talk to you for 100 hours. But what is, for those young professionals, we have a young team,
Yes.
And the graduation just happened this past weekend for Grand Valley. What's a piece of advice that you would give, a young professional entering the workforce or somebody who's just in their career, whether it's about leadership or anything?
I think there's been two things that have been kind of, and I know because you have a young staff, they probably won't like playing on the jukebox of my soul.
Yeah.
Like we remember jukeboxes, things you put on repeat. I think one is whenever I encounter women, is believe and invest in the possibility of you.
Yeah.
Like belief alone is dead. I think I've been most inspired to say believe and invest. Seed your own dream. That's the sign that you believe. When you're willing to give your time and your talent and your treasure, especially your money,
Right.
To seed your own vision. I am sitting in 834, something that you seeded. And we could probably talk about what it cost you, the battle scars that you still have from seeding this dream. And now other people are finding their dream because you seeded your dream. So I think believing and investing in the possibility of you, not waiting for someone else to do it. And I think the second thing I would say to leaders that are veteran leaders, kind of the OG leaders, is that when you rest, the world gets your best. I'm finding that for me, travel is one of the things that reignites creativity and innovation in me. I need, field trips are not just for kids. Adults need field trips. And so I think when we give ourselves space to just do things like that, we bring so much more creativity to our work, which impacts the bottom line. So it is not a punk move to take time for yourself. It is actually a business strategy.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. Because you can't run a business on empty. So where is your favorite place to travel now that you just brought that up?
Anywhere.
You're like, I don't care.
Passport, have car, will travel. I love to go. I feel like, I don't know if it's age, but I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, I used to have a professor, they used to say, sell your beds and buy books and travel. And I kind of feel that way. I'm getting to sell your bed, buy your books, buy books and travel, because there's no greater classroom than field experiences. I don't know why we make it just seem like kids need field trips.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, you learn so much when you travel. I mean, some of my best blogs have come out of like traveling, like the first time I traveled internationally and what that was like and, expectations versus reality. So, I think the more life experience we build up, the more we have to pass on to people. Well, thank you for being amazing and being here.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you were just, I would like to box you up and carry you everywhere with me. But you did get me a leadership care kit. So, yeah, I'm going to pretend that's like, I'll put you in my pocket. So, is there anything you want? Oh, well, at first, where can people purchase your book and find out more information?
Yeah, we're at Schuler Books. We're at Books and Mortar locally. We're on Amazon, ShannonCohen.com. Yeah. Yeah,
and where's your next speaking? You're speaking soon, I know.
Yeah, I'm scanning. I'm really excited. I'm going to be part of Arbor Circle Spring Dinner this week on tomorrow, actually, and I love that.
That's such a great organization.
Yeah, such a great space to be, and I'm always really passionate about ways that we help people thrive regardless of the circumstances of their birth. So, yeah, I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for inspiring all of us and everybody who's listening to this podcast. And we are definitely going to have you back because there's no way we could capture all of this in 15 minutes or however long we just did. Kim. Maybe it was an hour. Who knows? Anyways, thanks to everybody for tuning in to Happy Hour Hustle. Thank you, Shannon, for joining us. Again, ShannonCohen.com, and you can buy her book basically anywhere in GR and then on Amazon. Tough Skin, Soft Heart. I always want to say Tough Heart, but no.
My son
that's wrong.
does it.
That's
don't
wrong.
feel bad. My 5-year-old always says that's what he says. Tough Skin, Tough Heart. And I'm like, ooh, babe, I don't know.
No, no, that's not what we want. No. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.